Welcome to the SAU Report. I'm Hardy Bates.
And I'm Megan Black. Our guest today is Summer Carter, Miss SAU 2007. Summer, how did you first end up at SAU?
Well, I was a cheerleader in high school, and at the time my mother was a student here at SAU, and she kind of talked me into it, and I came to try out for cheerleading, and I made the squad. So I came here on a cheerleading scholarship.
That's really interesting. So are you still involved in cheerleading?
No, actually, I cheered my first year. I finished that season, but I had to get a job and support myself, so didn't end up cheerleading much longer.
Well, what are you involved in now? Are you involved in anything on campus now?
I am very involved on campus. I am a member of Phi Mu fraternity for one, and I also do Mule Rider Roundup and Leadership Academy leaders every year to help with the school.
It's great. I understand that Phi Mu will be participating in the current step show this spring. What kind of process do you guys go through, and how has that experience been for you?
It's a very long process. First, we all have to get together and think of a theme, and then we all decide on a night to get together and practice, which we practice 2.5 hours a night, and we usually start practicing a month in advance. And getting all the girls together at one time every night is probably the most difficult thing to do, because some of us have church, some of us have other events going on that night. But getting together and practicing is probably one of the hardest things to do, but it all pays off in the end because, of course, if we win, we get money. So.
Right. So, like, how many members are on your step team?
We have 12 members stepping. So.
Well, maybe could you tell us what stepping is for maybe some of those out there who might not be familiar with stepping? Or
Okay. Stepping is really aerobic. I guess you could say it's movement of your hands and feet and coordination and rhythm all compacted in one little show. And it's very physical. It's physical fitness, so it gets me in shape.
is it something that all fraternities and sororities compete in, or is it something that only like SAU Greeks do, or is it?
No, step shows is around the world. Greek fraternities and sororities all over the United States do it and to compete. And mostly it is for fun and also for philanthropy projects, which we do for Phi Mu. The money we make from the step show goes to CMN, Children's Hospital. So that's the main reason we do it.
Right. What are some other philanthropy that your organization is involved in?
We do community service, and we do events around the community. We really try to bring in the community on our projects. We sponsor the Miss SAU pageant, which we send a lot of money in for that. We do toy drives and just stay really, really busy.
I also know recently that you all sponsored a steak dinner at Mule's Cantina. Can you tell me how that went?
Yes, all of our members got together at Mule's Cantina, and well, prior to that, I think it was about 3 weeks prior to that, we sold tickets for $15 to the community and the school, and we waitressed, and we raised $600. And on tips too, we got the tips and we sent it to Sam. So it was fun.
Wow, that's really great. So you guys are really involved in doing a lot of philanthropy. And do you have any projects that you know of that are coming up? Are you guys going to be involved in Relay for Life or anything like that?
Relay for Life, we try to do that every year. Also, the Special Olympics are coming up next month, and we always try to get really involved in that. So that's upcoming events.
So you guys stay pretty busy.
Yeah, we do. It's fun. It keeps you busy, and it makes you feel better as a person when you do community service and stuff for your philanthropy.
So what was one of the things that attracted you to Phi Mu?
Besides pink? No, I'm just kidding. Phi Mu really stuck out to me my freshman year. All the girls were extremely nice, but because of how much philanthropy they do, it really drew me into their sorority. And I've never had a sister, and I've always wanted a sister. So I never thought a sorority was for me, to tell you the truth. In high school, I was like, no way am I ever going to pledge a sorority. But it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me.
So for some of those girls out there who might think that it's a little scary or a bad decision, you think that it's a good step to take? And
it is a good step to take because SAU has a no hazing policy. So no hazing will be going on. It's all in good fun, and we enjoy it. Yeah.
That's excellent. Now, I also know that you guys will be participating in Greek Week. That's coming up on campus. Do you know anything about any of the events that are coming up?
Actually, I think they're changing this year. There's a couple of, the only really thing I'm excited for was, of course, Friday night's a step show to sum it all up. But throughout the week, there are events throughout the days, and I think there might be an egg contest. Can Castle, that's in the past, but I don't know what I heard they came up with some really good stuff for this week, so, or the week of, yeah.
That's great.
Well, while also being a Greek on campus, like, what's your major?
Early childhood education. I did start out pre-dental, and I changed my mind. I love kids. My mom owned a dance studio growing up, and I was always around them. And I think that would be a good place for me to be, is education.
So after graduation, do you plan on going to graduate school, or do you want to go straight into teaching?
I think I want to try grad school. I think I want to go into the elementary and become a counselor, make my way up. I don't want to stop at just graduating in May, or next May.
Okay, so you will graduate in next May?
Next May of
You're
08.
scheduled for graduation?
Yep.
So when did you first come to SAU?
First came to SAU was my junior year of high school. My mom brought me over to show me where she was going to college. So.
Okay, so can you tell us maybe how SAU has changed over the years since you've been here? I know we've had so many new developments along with the Reynolds Center and the Honors Building going up and the addition of the residential college, and you've been able to see so many of those things. So how has SAU grown since you've been here?
SAU has definitely changed since I first saw SAU. The dorms, there's new dorms. The dorm I used to live in was Talbot, and I don't even think anybody stays in there anymore. It's just like secluded. I heard they're about to do something with it though. The number of people on campus has grew extremely. I think this year was an extra 150 freshmen coming in. So the population has definitely grown. The new Reynolds Center, I think, is the best thing. We have so many events. If it's a Greek, if it's with a community, we draw a lot of community into the Reynolds Center to get more people, to see what SAU is about, and that's been the best thing, I think.
Well, to get back to why we asked you to come today, how did you get involved with the Miss SAU pageant?
The Miss SAU pageant, FAMU sponsors it every year. In the past 2 years that we've sponsored it, I've just sat back and just been in. I was entertainment. Actually, I was over it 1 year, and then I did entertainment the last year. And I remember Dr. Rankin coming up to me and said, "Why weren't you in this pageant? You've got a wonderful voice." And scholarship issues and money has been a really big deal with me coming to college. And I found that to do the SAU pageant was my way to get scholarship money to be able to continue to go to school here. And that's what really drew me in to do it.
Wow, so that created a really excellent opportunity for you. So your talent is singing, and I was at the pageant. You did an excellent job. How long have you been singing?
I think I started singing when I was around 10. Me and my best friend was out in a tent one night. We had a camp out for my birthday, and we started singing, and my mom was spying on us. And she came in there. She didn't come in the tent, but she was outside listening. And after the night was over, she dragged me into her room, and she said, "Summer, I would really love it if you would enter a talent show." And I entered it with my friend, and we won. And ever since then, I've been on stage singing and enjoying it.
So everyone gets to see like what the final product is after you've rehearsed and gone through the process to become Miss SAU. What is the process like preparing for that?
Preparing is getting into shape. I never knew how much running could get your lungs into shape for singing. I practice a million times a day singing my songs, and it is a long, hard process, but in the end, it mostly turns out okay.
So do you have, now that you are preparing for the Miss Arkansas pageant, since SAU does qualify you for that, do you have a voice coach or anyone that you're working with, or do you just still prepare yourself? Or?
I do. I prepare myself. I think I have a strong voice, and I think that, I mean, any training would be good, you know, but I just haven't got out there to train yet with anybody. I've just kind of did it on my own, so.
Well, that's excellent that you're able to do that for yourself. Well, what about your platform? I know you always are concerned with platforms whenever you talk about girls being in pageants. So would you mind telling us a little bit about your platform for your...
As earlier as we spoke about step shows, my platform is stepping up to be a role model. My grandmother kind of molded me into this figure that I was really proud to be because of her. And so I chose my platform as importance of role modeling to demonstrate how my grandmother was a role model to me. And it's step up to be a role model, and so me and my sorority sisters, when I travel around to the different schools, they come with me and we step for them. And it's a way to get their attention as students, because most people, when you walk in to do a session, you know, they're not paying attention. But when we get on that stage or wherever we have the opportunity to step, we do, and they pay attention, and that's a way to get my word across.
So where are some of the places that you've been able to visit so far?
I went to El Dorado. Actually, a couple of the schools, most of the schools come to SAU to visit, and so it's easier for me just to go wherever they are and kind of step in and talk that way. I'm looking forward to going to the Magnolia Public Schools this month. So.
That's great. So, being the winner at the Miss SAU pageant qualifies you for Miss Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
When is that?
It's the third week in June. I arrive in Hot Springs on Father's Day, and it's a whole week. On Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we do events. I'm not really sure, I haven't got my schedule yet, but we go to a park one day, and then we go to a restaurant the next, and then competition starts on that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then Saturday is the final night.
Okay, so are you going to step up your preparation, or, you know, could you enlighten us with that?
Yes, I've been working out at Physiques, trying to get in shape. Also, I've been doing interviews, and by the way, this is helping me a lot. Thank you guys. Interviews here and there, just preparing my mind, body, and soul process. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
About how many girls compete in the Miss Arkansas pageant?
I think there's usually around 45 girls and only one crown.
So it's some stiff competition.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I think Arkansas is one of the toughest competitions.
Wow.
Arkansas and Texas usually, but I heard Arkansas is really stiff. So
I hear that.
yeah.
I hear that on the pageant
I got it
circuit.
cut out for me, huh?
Okay, that's good. So I also hear that pageants can get really, really expensive. So how have you been? I know you mentioned that the Miss SAU pageant and its scholarship opportunity has allowed you to pay for your education. Do you have any fundraisers set up for to pay for your funding to go
Everything.
to Miss Arkansas, or?
I do. Well, actually, my family sisters, they have been like the most amazing supporters yet. We are doing a fish fry at the old feed house coming up on April the 9th, so if anybody wants to buy tickets, $10. Besides that, the businesses have been really supportive. I'm just now getting my toes in the water on that. I'm going around and meeting everybody. The Phi Lambda Chi, they have donated money to me, and I'm looking forward to many more sponsors. So.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that you can have that kind of support, especially from the college, since you are representing us in such a good light.
It is.
It's excellent. Right. Well, back to your platform. What are some other ways that you may decide to implement this? I know since you do deal with young children, do you carry that into your classroom as well as you learn to
Role modeling
educate
is very important, because no matter where you are or what you're doing, there's always someone looking at you. If it is someone younger or someone older, to instill the qualities to be a good role model, I think is the most important. And yes, I will carry that into my classroom.
Well, we understand that the role model. You said that your grandmother was your great role model. What were some things she done to help inspire you?
She is such a strong woman. I don't know how she has made it this far, but she had breast cancer when I was a freshman, when I came to college, and I'm really close. My grandmother is like my mom, and my mom is like my sister kind of thing. And when I came here, my freshman year, I got a call one night, and my grandmother was calm about it, because she always is, nothing ever, And she said, I would like you to come in this weekend. And so I drove to Texarkana and sat down with her, and she had told me she had breast cancer, and she was taking it so well. And I'm over here sobbing my eyes out because my grandmother has breast cancer, and I'm just going to pray about it, and let God, work. And she had surgery, and they got the cancer out. But not even that, but the way she handles our family, she's like the backbone to our family. And it's just amazing. She was a single mother, raising my mother and my aunt for 15 years. So it's the little things that count, I think.
So coming from such a close family, Texarkana is really close. So does that help when you moved to SAU from college? Does that help in your college transition, make it a little easier?
Yeah, actually, this is funny. We were sitting down to dinner when I was a senior. It was right before graduation. And Mom said, I'm following you wherever you go to college. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Well, she was going to SAU at the time, and she had 2 more years till she graduated. What do you know? She packs her bags, and she moves to Magnolia. And she uses the excuse as, it's just easier for me just to go to school, I don't have to drive that hour. And so my mother moved to Magnolia when I graduated high school. So that made it easier knowing that my mom was here. And even though I lived in the dorms because I was a cheerleader and I wanted to have that, she wanted me to have that experience in the dorms, and I'm glad she did. But even it being an hour away, you would think that I would be able to go home anytime I wanted to. But I stay so busy, it seems like my family really is 5 hours away. But yeah, recently my mother did move back to Texarkana. She's no longer here, so it makes that difficult.
That's funny. So do you have any suggestions for other students as they try to transition into the college life?
I think Magnolia itself, with SAU of course, is such a hometown that it makes you feel comfortable. The teachers, the professors, everybody here on campus make it so easy for you to feel comfortable in their classroom. Like, they know you by name. They may even know your mother, your brothers, or whatever, but they know you, and you get that personal level with them, and you feel really comfortable. And that's one great thing about SAU is it's really comforting.
Okay, well, you say that you plan to graduate in May of 2008, correct? Mm-hmm. What would be one last statement that you'd want to give to the incoming freshmen? Just a bit of word of advice as far as
advice
to help them.
My great grandfather and I are really close, and his name's Papa Pip, and all my sorority sisters know him because I talk about him all the time. And he's in not a nursing home, but it's like this home where they all get together, and can stay. And I went to visit him a couple of weeks ago, and he goes, he got really sick, and I was just trying to get on that personal level, if there's anything I wanted to tell him just in case something happened. And I was like, tell me, what would your advice be to me? And he told me to be myself, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, no matter the people I'm around, to be myself. And I think that's the best advice I've ever heard. So for the incoming freshmen, no matter where you've been, no matter where you see yourself going, you have to be yourself.
Well, being yourself. In the end, go ahead.
I know you mentioned a second ago that you thought Magnolia was a really comfortable town. I know I grew up here, and so I was always very familiar with the campus. And I will agree with you that the faculty, they make the transition really easy. But do you find that you just, what, I don't really,
I feel like that I fit in somewhere. SAU makes that point that when you're coming in as a freshman, you know, things can be crazy, but the Leadership Academy for the students that have scholarships that come earlier to meet everybody on campus, it's usually in the summertime, it kind of gives you an open edge on what college is about. But the Mule Rider Roundup is when all the incoming freshmen come at one time, and I think that's really good. It's like an orientation kind of thing without the parents. So the kids get to see who they live by and, you know, who you're gonna be around the whole year without school actually going on, and that's usually 3 days before school starts. And I think that's a very good opportunity as freshmen coming to SAU to get there, to see what they're gonna look forward to.
so how did you get involved in Mule Rider Roundup and Leadership Academy?
I remember coming in as a freshman and seeing these students, doing these, leading these classes here, doing this, talking about this. And I've always been really involved in high school. And coming into college, I wanted to keep that alive. And so that next year was my sophomore year. You have to fill out paperwork and go through an interview process. And it depends on your GPA and all that important stuff. And you go through an interview process, and if you get chosen, you get to be a Mule Rider leader or a Leadership Academy leader. It's a really good opportunity. It looks really good on transcripts.
Okay, so you also, I guess as Miss SAU, really keep up with your grades and also try to be really involved in every aspect of campus and community life, so that's really important for you.
Anytime they need a speaker, I'm there with my crown on.
With your crown
With my
on.
crown on. And that thing is heavy. Don't let it lie. It is heavy. And it is hard to get on that head. But there was this lady that came in for the Miss SAU pageant, one of the judges, and she sat me down after the pageant and she said, now this crown symbolizes not that people would worship you, but this crown symbolizes for you to get out, and it's a way to get out and do what you want to do and get people to listen to you. So,
Well, what would be your favorite experience so far as Miss SAU?
my favorite, this is so funny, listen. Okay, so we were stepping in Harton, not in Harton, in the
Reynolds Center.
Reynolds
Probably.
Center.
Foundation
Hall, yeah. We were stepping one day, and after it was over, it was a group, I think there were 7, they weren't that old. I don't know how old they were, but there was this group of, they were probably 5th grade, let's just say 5th grade.
5th grade.
And we're sitting there, and I was like, does anybody have any questions? And this one girl said, raise her hand, and I was like, yes, and she said, will you please pose to us like you did on stage in your bathing suit? So I had to walk that stage all over again, pretending like it was competition. And then this one boy raised his hand and he said, I'm really proud of the Miss SAU thing. He said, but is there a Mr. SAU? I mean, that's not fair that you get scholarship money and guys don't. And I was like, honey, if you believe in that, you start it. You do it. That's kind of funny thing going on here.
And, well, I heard that FAMU is actually trying to start a Mr. FAMU, or did they have
I heard about that. Well, I heard about the Mr. FAMU, and we've already did one of those, and Keith Beeson was our winner. Y'all, he did this ribbon dance that was to die for. I wish I would have recorded it and put it on YouTube or something. It was hilarious. But I think there's going to be another pageant that's more sophisticated.
The Greek god.
The Greek god. Yeah, that's what I heard. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay. All right, well, Summer, we thank you so much for coming in to talk
Thanks
to
for
us
having me.
today. We thank you, and we wish you the best of luck at the Miss Arkansas pageant this summer in Hot Springs. And I'm Megan Black.
And I'm Hardy Bates, and this has been an SAU Report.